There's no such thing as casual sex, unless you're so drunk you can't remember it.
How can people avoid confusing sex with intimacy and romance with love?
Okay. That's
just a small question.
Some people do think sex and intimacy are the same thing. And you could confuse the physical closeness and intensity of sex with intimacy. And you could confuse the romantic rush of romantic moments with love. Somebody may use sex as a doorway to intimacy. But there gets a little complicated there, because it may turn out that the other person doesn't have the same feeling about sex. It may turn out that they're not as into you as you are into them, or vice versa. So what happens is there's no timetable and there's no formula. I have found that communication, listening, paying attention, being aware of and paying attention to your feelings are the best combination to make sure, well, hopefully that you don't confuse intimacy with sex and romance with love. And the most important things are that you have your goals clearly in mind, you know what you want and what you don't want, and that you're true to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, it's so interesting though, because any kind of sexual stimulation drives up dopamine in the brain and can push you over that threshold into falling in love. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, with orgasm, there's a real flood of oxytocin and vasopressin. Those are chemicals linked with feelings of attachment. Mm-hmm. So it's really easy to, and in fact, I mean, I've often maintained that there is no such thing as casual sex, unless you're so drunk you can't remember it. That something happens.
Then try to avoid that, please.
The brain. And in fact, I work with Match.com, and we do an annual survey called Singles in America. Mm-hmm. And I ask every year, have you ever had a one-night stand that turned into a long-term partnership? And over 40% of people said yes. And in fact, when we did a study in a college, why do you go into the one-night stand? 51% of the people said to try to trigger a relationship. So, I mean, it's as if we unconsciously know that there's two ways to get the boy or the girl. Either, spend years talking about their plans, future plans, or you get them into bed tonight and trigger these brain systems. So it's dangerous,
And I have women who are, who've been attracting men through sex for so many years when they're younger, and now they're in their 50s and 60s, and it's not working the same. And but they're still jumping into bed because that's all they know. Like it's their behavior pattern. And so what I do is I actually give them a checklist. I mean, these are things that have to happen before you say yes to jump into bed with a man. And take personal responsibility. It's all about personal responsibility, right? Like you said, taking care of yourself. And that's, you have to be able to talk about safe sex. And you have to be able to talk about the relationship, what's gonna happen tomorrow morning, right? And you have to talk about what's comfortable for you and what you need in order for you to feel good about it. And if you can't have those three conversations, don't jump into bed with him, because you will be attached, like you said. That oxytocin's gonna grab on, and you're gonna be in love with that guy.
One of the things I find with young women is they don't know what you are educating them about. And so I'll take time and explain that if you go to sleep, you have sex with ex-young man that you're attracted to, and you don't know him well and you don't know his values and you haven't judged his character, it may end up a one-night stand, and you may have these feelings of attachment for a long, long time.
And remorse. Right?
And remorse, stalking, all sorts of things. It's very complicated. And I find that a lot of people really need the education. Yeah. It's not something we're taught.
Casual sex is not casual. 5 of the 12 cranial nerves just go into action. You're right next to somebody. You can see them, smell them, hear them, taste them, feel them. The whole body responds.
This was such a fascinating conversation, and to quickly sum up that casual sex isn't casual, because love and sex are really so interwoven, and the brain research proves that. So really to take care of yourself is key when you're thinking about a one-night stand and really thinking about, do I want to have a relationship with this person, just to be really cautious and not do anything, too impulsively. Thanks so much, ladies. This was great.